Racers are in a troubling situation due to Qatar's scorching heat and amp temperature. And there are speculations that F1 will visit Qatar in December of 2024 when the weather will hopefully be cooler for the drivers as they race. So, let's dive into this video today to know the entire situation. The situation at the Qatar GP has raised serious concerns. The level of demand at the Qatar GP was exceptionally high. Drivers had to cope with scorching temperatures of over 40 degrees Celsius and humidity exceeding 70%. The teams attempted to cool down the cars using synthetic ice before the race, but it didn't prove very effective. Around lap 27, Fernando Alonso radioed in, requesting water or something as he passed through the pits. He revealed his seat was burning. However, his request was denied due to regulations. This moment caught attention, but it still didn't fully convey the extreme conditions they were facing. Dehydration, fainting, and vomiting became major concerns. Logan Sargent was the first to sound the alarm. He told his team that he wasn't feeling well. Williams' boss, James Vowles, gave him the option to retire, emphasizing that there was no shame in stopping if he felt unwell. Not completing a race is always tough for a driver, but safety must come before pride. Struggling, Logan made it to his pit box, where the team had to help him out of the car as he was completely exhausted. He was then taken to the medical center for evaluation. He had suffered severe dehydration and weakened due to flu-like symptoms earlier in the week. Even though the drivers carried water during the race, it was likely extremely hot and insufficient. The other drivers in the race, excluding Hamilton and Sainz, who were not participating, managed to finish without difficulty. Most of them found it challenging to exit when they parked their cars. Albon needed assistance and, like his teammate, also ended up at the medical center for treatment due to severe heat exposure. What do F1 racers have to say? George Russell, a Mercedes driver, found the conditions at the Qatar Grand Prix nearly unbearable. He disclosed that he almost fainted after just 12 laps into the race. Although he started the race from the second position on the grid, he collided with his teammate Lewis Hamilton in the first corner. Despite this setback, he made his way back up the field in the first part of the race, eventually reaching fourth place. The air temperature reached a high of 33 degrees Celsius, but the drivers had an even tougher time due to extreme heat inside their cockpits caused by high humidity. This was made worse by the short stint lengths mandated for the event, effectively making the drivers perform like they were in a constant qualifying session throughout the 57-lap race. Russell expressed, "It was beyond the limit, I think, for what was acceptable for driving." He added, "If over 50% of the grid was saying they were sick, couldn't drive, close to passing out, you don't want to pass out when driving 200 mph down a straight. That's how I felt at times. Any hotter, and I think I would have retired because my body was going to give up." Lando Norris, securing third place in the Qatar Grand Prix, voiced concerns about the race's safety, deeming it dangerous for the drivers. He stated, "I think today we probably found the limit. It's a pretty dangerous thing to go on, but it's not a point where you can just go. The drivers need to train more or do any of that." Norris emphasized the physical strain inside the closed cars under extreme heat, saying, "When you have people who end up retiring or in such a bad state, it's too much for the speeds we're doing. It is too dangerous." Max Verstappen. Sitting alongside Norris, Max Verstappen agreed, expressing discomfort with the weather conditions, stating, "It's just too warm, and as Lando said, it has nothing to do with more training or whatever. It's like you walk around in a sauna." Verstappen highlighted the long race duration and high humidity, adding, "Singapore is almost a 2-hour race, and it's very warm. I think it's also quite on the limit of what should be allowed, so there are a few things to consider, but this was too hot." Esteban Ocon, another competitor, shared his challenges during the Qatar Grand Prix. After the race, he revealed on the team radio that he was vomiting inside his helmet by lap 15. Confirming this in the media, Ocon said, "Yeah, by lap 15, 16 for 2 laps, I think I was doing that, and I was like, shit, sorry for swearing, but it's gonna be a long one." He explained the difficulty further, stating, "I've always been able to do 2 race distances in the car. That's always what I'm training for, but today, it's just the hot air, and how hot the engine is from behind the car." Ocon expressed the challenging conditions inside the cockpit, mentioning it must have felt like 80 degrees inside the car today. Despite the hardships, he emphasized, "It was horrible, but yeah, hardest ever fought points on my side, but glad that we maximized the result, and P7 is a very good result for us today." The drivers are calling for a reassessment of race conditions to ensure safety, acknowledging the unique challenges of extreme heat. What do you think of the current situation at the Qatar Grand Prix? Comment below and subscribe for more.